Welcome to the podcast.
And we can't use Blink-182 for every introduction.
Fine.
What's up, everyone? It's Nate Cavalli and my buddy Seamus O'Neill again. We are sitting down with a good buddy today. His name is Myles Murphy, and he is a country singer from Abbotsford, BC, who released his debut single called Started With You in February of this year.
That's right. And a few months back, he put on one heck of a single release party. He sold the thing right out, and me and Nate were lucky enough to be there. Since then, he's had 40,000 plus spins on the song and has shared the stage with many, many amazing country acts.
And what's most impressive is that he's done all of this as an independent artist steering his own ship. We're going to ask him some questions, play some games, and share some stories. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned. And we're rolling.
Welcome back, guys. We got Myles here in the house, and I'm stoked to have him here, and I hope you are too. Myles, dude, it's been so long with no see. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thank you for having me here.
Right on. And I see you got a new haircut.
Yes, I did.
Looks beautiful.
Appreciate that, buddy.
Well, there's an elephant in the room here. Did you get a haircut because you were tired of people thinking you were Matt Damon?
Matt Damon!
No, that wasn't my main reason. Coronavirus kind of put us in a place where we couldn't get haircuts, and my hair was super long, so me and my wife decided to trim it down. And mine was definitely free, and I didn't have to go anywhere after I had the cut, which was a nice thing. I could hide.
Yeah.
yeah. We could all just shave our heads and no one would know.
Do you remember what buzzer number, what are those called? Clipper
Yeah, I was missing.
levels? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had 1 and 2. I was missing 3, 4, and 5, and then I had like a 6 or something. So it's a pretty wide variety that was missing.
Okay, but you had a number one.
Yes.
Okay, you also have a number one on the Indie Row countdown right now.
That was smooth, Nathaniel. Wow. That was smooth.
I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Tell us about that.
Float.
Okay, well,
Do it.
Indie Row is a indie radio station that plays local Canadian country and indie music, and they have a top 20 countdown, which I've watched other artists, be on and watch them move up the charts to get number ones. And recently debuting my own single, I decided I was going to get in contact with them, sent it over to them, and slowly over the last couple weeks, it has moved its way up to the number one spot. So
Congratulations,
thank you.
man.
Wicked.
Very stoked about that.
All right, before we get too deep into this party, we're going to try a little something we like to call the 1 minute meltdown. We're going to ask Myles a series of questions, actually 20 questions to be exact. Hopefully we can get through it. We got 1 minute to do so. And are you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Do you prefer drinking coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Would you rather have a dog or a cat?
Dog.
Do you like watching Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Swearing or no swearing?
Swearing.
Yeah. Phone call or text?
Text.
Would you rather eat toast or eat eggs?
Eggs.
Would you rather snack on cake or snack on pie?
Pie.
Would you rather watch football or basketball?
Football.
What's worse, doing laundry or doing dishes?
Doing laundry.
Would you rather eat a hamburger or would you rather eat a hot dog?
Hamburger.
Money or free time?
Money.
Yeah. Blue or red, what color?
Blue.
Would you rather go to an amusement park or spend a day at the beach?
Amusement park.
Pencil or pen?
Pencil.
Horror movie or comedy?
Horror movie.
Do you like ninjas or do you like pirates?
Ninjas.
Would you rather watch TV shows or movies?
TV shows.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Pancakes or waffles?
Waffles.
Would you rather ride on a train or would you rather ride on a plane?
Train.
Boom. 1 second left. Nailed it.
Nice.
That was good. Nice
Yeah,
work.
that was pretty difficult.
All right, so that was a lot of fun, but we actually have some serious questions for you too, Myles. My first question for you is, what first got you into music?
I'd have to say probably my older sister. She's quite a bit older than me. She's used to sing when I was a kid. I was probably about 5 or 6, and she used to sing publicly at events around town. So I'd have to say that was my main influence.
What kind of stuff did she sing?
Mostly pop, like Britney Spears, things like that, which it's funny because I ended up starting to... Those were the first songs I actually ever remember performing was Britney Spears song.
You performed a Britney Spears song.
Yeah, I think it was Oops, I Did It Again.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know?
Well, you don't have to smile too bad. I mean, what's that metal band that just covered that one? Well, not just covered it.
Children of Bodom. Yeah, there's a metal version of it.
I have not heard it yet.
And
Rock
they
out to it on the
are
way home.
a respectable metal band. So, you don't have to feel bad about covering
No,
that
I don't
one.
feel bad.
No, nobody should. That's a great...
Did you wear a halter top?
No, but sometimes my cousins remind me about it, though. They just kind of be like, remember that time at Grandma's reunion when you made the whole party listen to Oh Baby Baby? Was I supposed to know?
Oh man, you gotta like find the video. Is there a video of this?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't even think there were cell phones then.
I know, it makes it so much harder to find footage of everything. We're gonna talk about your first and single that's doing so well. Started with You. It was produced by Maddie McKay,
Yeah.
Brett Kissel's guitar player. Mm-hmm. What was it like working with him?
Maddie's a really good guy. I got nothing but good things to say about him. He's a wholehearted dude who speaks, he shoots straight from the hip and tells you how it is. He approached me at one of the shows saying that he liked my tunes. And, I took some time, went out to Calgary and checked out OCL Studios, and was really excited about working with him. He's got a lot of passion, and as an up-and-coming producer, I think he's going to do really great things. But yeah, like nothing bad to say about the guy. I just really love that guy.
And so, just for our listeners out there who don't know what OCL stands for, what is OCL Studios?
Well, I'm actually wearing their shirt right now, which is kind of funny. We're talking about this, but they're a studio based at just outside of Calgary. They've done a lot of big things, and it's just an amazing place that you walk into. It's a big farm that's was a man's house that got inspired by music from his band, I believe is the story. I could be a little bit off here, but he had a band and they wanted somewhere to record, so he started to build a studio, and then the studio surpassed the band, and the band faded away, and then he just took it on as a big hobby, and now it's he has an amazing place with a huge band room and a couple different recording labs. So it's a good place. If you're ever in Calgary and you want to check something out, you got to check out OCL Studios.
All right, we went down the rabbit hole of YouTube before you got here to make sure we did our homework, and we found a song that was posted in 2011 called Moving On. We want to know, what's the story behind that? It's actually really, really well done.
Yeah, before we got started, you played me that, and I'm like, dude, that's really good. But that's what I like about you. You're such a humble guy. You're like, nonchalantly, it's it's just something I did a long time ago. I'm like, this is it. This is awesome.
Yeah. I was 19, I think then, and I'd never been to a studio before.
You look 14 in the video.
Yeah, I don't age. I don't know if you know that, but anyways.
So basically, you're like Taylor Lautner.
So
from
basically,
Twilight.
yeah. I was about 19, and a friend of mine, his name's actually Brendan Brown, was into writing music and singing. But so we sat down, and he had an idea, and we sat down. We wrote this song called "Moving On," which, if you want, you can find it on YouTube. It was the first song I ever released, and the first time I ever went into a studio. The only platform I actually released that to was YouTube. And then one of my friends, who just happened to be good on a computer, decided to make a video to go with it. And it's literally just a bunch of funny photos of me, a little bit of breakdancing, and some good memories. So
That's the video I haven't seen. You've seen it, right, Nate?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
there's
look at
actually
it.
no actual breakdancing in the video.
yes,
though
there is. Yes, there is.
There's pictures of you breakdancing.
No, there's, and then I break
Okay,
dance.
2
I'm on
minutes and
stage
22 seconds. There's
dancing
breakdancing.
at the P&E.
All right. Well, I probably closed my eyes when I started feeling it. All right. So
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yes, there's breakdancing though.
Well, speaking of breakdancing and skills that we all have, I want to know what your most pointless skill is that you have, or talent.
I got a lot of them. It's hard to decide which one.
Nate, you've said you've
most
seen
useless.
Myles backflip off a swing, which could be breakdancing and, some sort of like High School Musical type thing. But
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of one of those guys in High School Musical.
he's good looking enough too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, Seamus says
Brownie
that, but-
points.
We,
I like McChickens.
I would say that
Next
the
time.
backflip off the swing set was definitely valued skill.
Yeah, I was right beside you when you did that. That was
I feel like it's an impressor.
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a good one. I think I learned.
Did that actually get you women in elementary school? I mean, it probably got you attention as an absolute
it got me a lot of
lunatic.
attention. I don't know. Elementary school, it might have got me like some attention. In middle school, detention. That's just what I was about.
Have you ever thought of putting a swing set on stage and doing a backflip on stage on a swing set?
No,
while
I actually have
holding a
never
guitar?
thought of that. No,
Dude, someone-
but I have thought of doing backflips, and I have done backflips in shows before.
Well, that's not on YouTube.
No,
No, not
I
yet.
think there might actually be a backflip on the.
You should. That's pretty sweet. That'd be cool. There's a couple of guys that have done backflips. I think the guy from Panic at the Disco was doing one off the bass drum.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
Actually, one of my shows, I played a talent show one time when I was younger, and my final act, I actually sang, and then I did part of a rap, and then I breakdanced, and then I backflipped off of the stage into the middle of the aisle between the two aisles, and I'm not joking. When I landed, and I was like, "Oh, great, I landed," because I was nervous and I hadn't done it. It was just like a heat of the moment thing. I turned around, and the crowd erupted off of their seats into the air. I threw both hands up in the air, and I just strutted straight down the aisle, and it was like the perfect ending to a talent show. And I placed third.
Oh,
Almost broke my legs.
it's high school talent shows. It's all politics.
I got
man.
the
It's all politics
participation
anyways.
ribbon.
That's brutal.
But yeah, I know it was.
Hey, you won the crowd
it's
vote.
practice,
That's for sure.
right? Yeah, and
That's all that. That's
it's
actually
not always all about winning, right?
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to entertainment industry, it's all about the crowd vote, anyways, because that's who's going to. That's who's gonna make you.
Yeah, definitely. Crowd, the fans,
Do you sing in the shower?
Yeah, I would say so.
Good, because I want to ask you which song is your favorite song to sing in the shower.
A lot of the time, like having a couple kids of my own, right now, I find myself waking up to nursery rhymes, and I actually find myself singing nursery rhymes. I've at work, in the shower with no kids around, Baby Shark, things like that.
Yes.
I find myself singing those a lot, but I also like to sing some Tom Petty, right, in the shower. Free Fallin', or
He's one of the kings of
Won't
sing-alongs.
Back Down, and just stuff like that. Just and sometimes I even like to sing my own music because I find that the heat of that shower and the sound in there, it just makes you sound better, and you think you're something. And
It's
you're
like being
I
in a-
hope the people downstairs can hear me right now.
Yeah. You're like you like lean you get your lips like down the drain pipe and you're like you're welcome.
Yeah. You want everybody to hear it. I don't know if everyone's like that, but as a singer, when you feel like you're good, you want people to hear.
It's so funny. Even with being a drummer, like I find that like if you're practicing on your own and whatever, and you do something really cool, you're like, man, I wish everyone saw that just now.
That's
to
so
open the
funny
garage.
that you guys say that, because I was like the opposite after like grade 7. I wanted no one to hear me when I practiced guitar. I'd wear headphones. But before that, when I was like in grade 5, when I still thought like, everyone wanted to hear you, I would like sing songs in the shower as loud as possible and just wait for someone when I came out to be like, oh my God, that was really
good. Did it never happen?
And that never happened.
Oh,
and that's when I realized,
too bad.
That maybe my voice wasn't the greatest.
It's like meanwhile the door is just caving in. Nate, shut the frick up.
Yeah.
You're like,
That's too bad. I wish I was outside that shower to tell you how good you sound.
I would have slipped a note under the door and it would have gotten soggy in the steam, and that would have made it even more genuine. And it would have said, Nate, you rock.
Well, I got a shower on my birthday, guys. So anytime you want to come by.
We're gonna have a Nate shower. Like a baby shower, but it'll
it's
be
gonna
for
I was gonna say maybe Nate one day will have a baby shower.
yeah.
All right, so we've been talking a
You
lot
can sing
about
in it.
different. We've been talking a lot about different songs, which leads us to our next question here. Myles, do you have a favorite song to perform?
Is this like one of my own, or is this just a cover?
All right,
just in general, I have a favorite.
Let's break it down
Definitely have a
really
favorite.
quick, and let's just say, first of all, what's your favorite original so far, and what's your favorite cover to play? So let's start with the cover.
I like to. Luke Combs is one of my favorite artists right now for sure, and I like to play with the band when it rains it pours. Mm-hmm. I find that one always gets the crowd a little bit going. But when it comes to my original songs, the one I grew about or the one I wrote about growing up in Abbotsford called "My Big Hometown."
I love that song.
I think it's a kick-ass song, and
It's a crowd pleaser.
and it shuts down the night, and the crowd gets into it, and it's always a good time, and that would definitely have to be my favorite one to play
Yeah,
with a full band.
I remember we've played that one at a couple places, and which leads me to ask, what do you think is your favorite place you ever played?
I think the most special show I've played so far would have to be.
Now I know you've played a lot of places, and you've done a lot of cities, and a lot of people in a lot of different cities might be listening. We don't want to
I don't want to
say, hey, this city was better than this city, but there were cities where
most places that I go to, I find
you or we've had some,
Well, it's
really
not-
great memories.
Yeah, it's not based off the city even. It's just, let's say, what was your favorite show?
Yeah.
Just because of the night, you were feeling good. The crowd was
St.
right.
Patrick's Day event in Chilliwack a couple years back, and it was a sold out show, at the stadium out there, and I was opening up for Brett Kissel, who was the headliner, and it was a close to home show, right? Like being from Abbotsford, growing up in Abbotsford, like my family was able to come, and my dad, I'd never seen me play before. It's his first show; he gets to come to something like that,
Nice.
right? So my kids were all there, and they got to come backstage, and I just, for me, that was just a big opportunity, and it will always hold a special place in my heart.
And they must have been a proud fam that night.
It was pretty cool when I was standing there signing some stuff at the end, and then my kids are in the line to get me to sign them photos, which is like, at home, no, but like in that setting, it was like they waited, they patiently waited, and then they're like,
That's so cute.
Yeah, I know, it was pretty sweet.
And in that moment, you'd made it.
Yeah, I know. I know in the eyes of my children,
That's awesome.
they're proud of me. So.
Speaking of Brett Kissel, you got a good funny story about singing on stage with him, which we talked about when we introed this.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to get to go play with him on some of his dates out in northern British Columbia. So like Terrace, Kitimat, and Smithers, and I played 3 of them there, and then I believe that what happened was I was talking to Brett after the first show, and then he's like, "Oh, I would like you I'd like you to sing a song with me on the next one," and I was like, "Yeah," right off the bat. "What song?" And he's like, "Raise Your Glass." And then I'm like, he's like, "Do you know what?" Instantly, I answered yes without even thinking. I did not know the words to that song, right? So there I am. I have 24 hours, just less under 24 hours to learn this song, right? Which you think would be maybe an easy thing. I just have to learn a verse, right? So I'm sitting there with the guys in my band, and I got my headphones on everywhere we're going. We're like eating breakfast. We're out. I'm listening before the show. We're eating dinner, and I'm sitting there listening. And this is in Kitimat. So I'm listening to the song as many times as I can in my headphones, and I can see like it's a nice community, a small town. I can see the people, like it's a party at this restaurant because all these people are going to the Brett Kissel show, right? Like he comes to town, and that's what's happening.
I remember that night actually. Not to like just insert myself in the story, but I was definitely there.
Yeah, and I was sitting there in the corner when all these people
we're all scrubbed out. In our sweats.
Yeah.
Everyone's all dressed up, and we know it's happening. And you're there, like, oh man, I'm tripping out.
Yeah.
You got your headphones on. You're like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was standing backstage, and I don't think I'd ever been so nervous at a show, and and I standing back there, and I'm like I can't talk, I can't drink anything, I can't eat. I'm like, okay, let's just get through this, right? And so what does he do? He stands out there. That's a packed house, sold out show. He's like, okay, Myles Murphy. And I just walk out, and my next count in, I start singing the words. I didn't give it any time. I literally just started saying the words. And the worst part is I blanked out. I forgot every word. So I literally just guessed. And I started guessing words, making sentences. And at one point, Brett walks by me and he laughs. He goes, ha! Like outside of the microphone, right? They're an amazing band, so they covered it up very well, and
Right.
And the next night I had the opportunity to do it, and I got every word right, and
You did kill it.
yeah, the next
I
night
have a
was-
video of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience. He brought me out, drinking songs, signing things, throwing them out. They were just a great group of guys, a great band. They're well put together.
I also heard after that Brett told you, some words of, comfort after you kind of quote unquote messed things up after the first time.
Yeah, that was actually James Bundy, his
okay.
stage,
You have to share that.
his sound guy.
Because that was too funny.
This is just a story. It's not with me, but it was one to make me feel better when I stood off the stage and was just like, oh man, I can't believe I just did that. It was a learning lesson for me for sure. And he told me about how Dan Davidson was playing some of the shows before some of the other dates, and that he told Dan Davidson he wanted him to sing Raise Your Glass. So Dan Davidson went and learned Raise Your Glass by Pink. So when he went out to sing the song with him, he knew, none of the words and had to fake the entire thing, right? So they were just trying to make me feel a little bit better, and it did. Because the next night we killed it.
Well, do you think he actually meant that as a true story, or is that just something he made up to make you feel better?
I don't know. Either way, I felt good after it. Not as bad, because I look up to Dan Davidson as well as an artist, right? So it's it's one thing I've learned along the way is like when you're up there performing, you just keep your composure and don't let anybody know that you have messed up, and you just play it off,
Which is great advice.
Awesome advice. Speaking of advice, what's the best advice you've ever been given?
I want to say that, for me, it's time. Good things don't need to be rushed. Like as an artist, I've come to the realization, like the first year of my solo career, I wanted everything to happen so fast. And I thought that if it didn't happen fast enough, like nothing would come out of this. Right. And, now it's like, I've learned to like lay back a little bit and it's what I put into it and how it's going to take time. So I think that like if something's important to you and you work hard enough at it and you stick to it, it'll work out. It's all determined on how bad you want it and what you're willing to do for it without changing your morals or values.
Well, it sounds like you got like your head in the right place. So the next question obviously is going to be, what's next for you?
For me, coming out of the single release with Started With You, I got a couple more songs back in the studio, doing that whole thing. The world thing going on with COVID kind of slowed it down a little bit, but we were able to get a band together and get them back into OCL, and we recorded two more singles, and I'm hoping to release one in the next following couple months. So
right on, man. So it's good to know you have a plan. We're excited to see what you have next. Where can we find you online if we want to follow you, see your videos, all of that?
Yeah.
Tell us about your platforms.
Well, you can basically find everything from my website. It's www.milesmurphymusic.com. You can get links to everything: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Any sort of streaming platform. Started With You has been released to over 40 streaming platforms. And it's doing pretty good for an independent artist, I feel like. Yeah, you can get, and if you need to get a hold of me, you can get my website on there. You can reach out to me on Instagram if you ever have any questions. I'm usually available.
Right on, man. Oh, we really appreciate your time. Now, before you go, we've actually got a segment of the show we want to try out here with you as a guinea pig called Would You Rather?
Great.
And it's not a speed round this time.
Okay.
We just want to hear your honest answers.
Okay.
All right, Myles. So are you ready to play Would You Rather?
Yes, I am. I hope this one's not on the podcast.
I dig this next question. Would you rather be 10 minutes late or 20 minutes early? I know my answer to this.
20 minutes early.
Really? You'd rather be 20 minutes early?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess better late or better earlier than late, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think that if I'm late to something, it's a little bit unprofessional at times. And like growing up, like with a job, you don't have the option to be 10 minutes late all the time, right?
Yeah.
And what if your wife's about to have a baby and you're 10 minutes late?
Well,
rather be there 20 minutes early or 10 minutes late?
Then I guess you miss all the blood, guts, and gore and get to hold it when it's washed off.
Yeah.
And not all weird looking.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd have to definitely say early. 20 minutes early.
You were actually 20 minutes early today.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
And you were 10 minutes late.
I was. Actually, the funny thing is I was going to say, like, my answer was going to be, and it's funny that I was late today because I am actually usually early. And I hate it because I'm always the guy sitting there waiting for the person that's 10 minutes late. So I have to wait for like half an hour. And,
Musicians.
Would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Yeah, me too.
I would not want to know what people have touched. I'd become a germaphobe,
No, it'd be the history of that object.
Like where it came from?
Yeah,
Like just
So would it show the history? If I touch this computer, would I see the history of Nate's, or I see Nate's history on this computer?
yeah. So
So why would you not?
exactly.
Like again, I would like to talk to
You wouldn't even need to take a black light to it.
Yeah.
I have taken the necessary precautions to make sure that
Definitely would want to talk to
That's
animals.
permanent in many ways.
yeah.
I know that's exactly what I thought when I read that question. I was like, I'd rather talk to animals. Animals are fun. They're
Yeah.
cool. You know, the things I've touched in my life, I wouldn't want to know the history. I'd probably feel really gross.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question before we get crazy and start unleashing our deepest, darkest secrets. Would you rather go back to the age of 5 with everything you know now, or know now everything your future self will learn? That's funny. What I've learned in life is youth is everything. It really is. Although the only crummy thing is you'd probably at my age now, I'd probably be, if I had all the knowledge I have now at the age of 5, I'd be like a really jaded 5-year-old.
Yeah, you'd have a really twisted view on life, and you'd be able to read people.
Imagine
Might
being
wreck your
5 years old and
childhood,
you
yeah.
need a drink.
Yeah. Oh, I can't get through this anymore.
I need a
Or
cigarette.
talking to other 5-year-olds,
Yeah.
and having to hold up conversation with them is like being sober. Would be like sober talking to drunk people.
Yeah, you have to live amongst
Like,
other 5-year-olds.
As it gets later, you have to pretend like you can't talk as
Yeah.
much. Like, you ever do that? Be
Oh, yeah.
sober around a bunch of drunk
Oh,
people.
dude.
You're like, things get stupider, and
Yeah.
you're just like, go with it.
All right, should we do this? Let's try another question here. These are fun. I like your answers, Myles. Would you rather have unlimited international first class tickets or never have to pay for food at a restaurant ever again? That's a cool question. You'd rather have tickets to fly anywhere or never pay for food at a restaurant again?
Never pay for food,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm with Myles.
For sure. I could fly everywhere, but doesn't mean I have the money to spend once I get there.
Exactly.
Food. Taking food costs away from things. I got 3 kids. A wife.
Yeah.
That would just be. That's an easy decision for me.
And I love
We're
eating at restaurants.
Boston pizza every night for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's an easy decision then because it's expensive.
Yeah. And I eat at restaurants a lot. Like I if I calculate it in my head, I know I personally eat at restaurants all the time. And if I go away, I eat at restaurants all the time. I'd rather pay for a plane ticket than all the restaurants I'm going to go to on a 10-day vacation.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we got one more here. Would you rather be an average person in the present, which you clearly are, or a king of a large country 2,500 years ago?
I would say I'd rather be the average person.
Why?
Well, because I wouldn't want to lose the things that I have today. They're more important to me than some idea of being a king to things I don't know.
Is someone paying you to say these things?
No, this is my real view.
You see, he's a true independent artist.
Yes. It'd be nice if somebody paid me to say this.
The average life expectancy back then was way lower too. So,
Yeah, like 40 or something, right?
we'd be asking you right now, so what do you plan to do with the next final 6 years of your life?
Wrapping this thing up, we're getting hungry. We got to go grab a bite to eat. Myles, thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate your time, and what a great way to get together. So if you guys haven't heard his new single yet, Started With You, please go listen to it. It's available on all streaming platforms, and you won't regret doing so.
You can find him on Instagram at Myles Murphy Music. You can find him on Facebook, on YouTube. Just search Myles Murphy Music. If you like what you heard today, please don't hesitate to share it with friends. If you want to write us a review, that would be great. Or if you're an artist or an industry professional who would like to be featured on the podcast, please send us an email, vancouvertoontalk@gmail.com. That's vancouvertoontalk@gmail.com. Till next time.
It's been a while.
And everything I can remember.